And we are rolling. Back in action. Today, today I want to talk about when a parent is dying and when the relationship was never simple. It's I don't know. I've I've been sitting and watching my inner state and seeing how things are going. Um, people, I'm not sure. I'm not sure people usually say these kinds of things out loud, and maybe that's one of the reasons I decided to go ahead and say it. I have a forum, so I might as well use it. But I'm wondering. The question is, what happens inside? What happens inside of you? What happens inside of me when a parent is dying and the relationship itself was difficult the whole way through, right? Like, I think maybe in movies and on TV, maybe Leave It to Beaver or Father Knows Best or Happy Days, or we have these TV depictions of American life, family life, and things are on the surface, very nice and sing-songy, and people get along, and everyone has their little flaws, but still, at the end of the 30-minute episode, everything gets tied up in a nice little bow, and everybody lives happily ever after until the next week and the next episode of the show. We media plays a big role in telling us how family life is supposed to be. Reality tells us something completely different. My father is dead. He's been gone for at least 20 years, somewhere around 20 years. And my mom is near the end of her life now. She's 93. She's been in failing health for at least the past year. I've seen her progress downward from walking to cane to walker to she fell at home and hurt her back and her hip a lot. I mean, she really did a number on herself. She she had a pacemaker installed. She's had a real rough last couple of years, especially. But she's 93. Am I going to hit 93? I don't think so. You can't predict the future. You don't know what nature has in store, but I don't see it. I don't see it happening. She lived a long time. And what I want to talk about today is what happens inside of you when a parent is dying and it's your last parent, it's your mom, and the relationship was difficult anyway. So I'm watching my own reactions on what's happening and what's been happening. And I noticed that there's actually a lot of pressure inside her illness, her sickness. It's been ongoing. I've, I mean, I live 2 hours north of her going there and up to 5 hours in traffic coming back. So I've been down, I've seen her. I've been down to see her over the last 2 years a lot, probably 40 or 50 times. I mean, I didn't count, I didn't bother counting, but I'd see her every couple of weeks, go down, especially over the last couple of years. I'd bring food. I'd bring us something to eat. I'd prepare it at home and I'd bring it down. I wanted her to eat well. I wanted to kind of have my time of taking care of my mom. And it felt like a right thing and to provide her with especially comfort food. We would always, I'd bring a vegetable always or a little salad, but mostly, a nice type of meat and potato or, a side dish and gravy. I mean, the whole nine. Some of those meals were really extravagant. I mean, I really wanted to take care of her. She's my mom. She's the only one I'll ever have. And uh, as however this may land, I'm going to go ahead and say it. But I mean, I fed her better over the last 2 years than I ever ate when I was living under her roof. I mean, I really took care of her. And that's the thing is when you're preparing food and you're gonna prepare it and then package it and take it somewhere, then you're gonna feed somebody else and yourself while you're down there. It takes some effort. It takes some thinking. Put some thought into it. What am I gonna make? What can I carry down there that I can just heat up easily? What can we eat pretty much on the fly? So anyway, desserts also. I mean, we ate really well. We had a lot of meals, and you would think this is something else that's been in me. You would think that during meal times or after that two people, a mother and a son, would be able to sit and have a share a decent conversation. The thing is, our MO, the way we operate, and this is the way it's always been, is my mom talks and I listen. I am an audience of one. That's been my role for a long time. She talks and I listen, and that's my job. And that works, you know, until it doesn't work, right? I mean, I there have been times, if I'm speaking truthfully, which I am, where I've had to purposefully cut her off because she's blabbing, and I have to stop her and interject what I'm going to say. That has been the main bone of contention between us for my entire life. She likes to talk. And as far as she's concerned, when I'm there, and it's part of control, as far as she's always been concerned, is she does the talking and I do the listening, and that's it. And to the point that I've had plenty of times when something will happen in my private life and I want to share it with her. I want to tell her about it. And so I start to tell her about it. Um, or more accurately, I call her to tell her about it. And she answers the phone mid sentence. She answers the phone. Oh, I was just thinking about you. I was over at your aunt's today, and then we went over to the store for a while. And after that, I had to go over to the dentist on my way home. And, I have to get the oil changed in my car. I've been meaning to write that down. I think I'll go to that place around okay, like that. When you call her up, she's mid sentence. And, there were times when I was younger, living, like I say, 2.5 hours north of her, and working my job, my career, whatever. And I have something I want to, I'm going to call my mom on that and pick up the phone, call her. And you just kind of forget all about the fact that she's going to dominate the conversation. And she answers, and again, mid sentence. And the point is, I mean, there were times I put her on speaker, turn the volume all the way down, lay the phone on the desk, and she can go for 45 minutes without taking a breath. I know I've witnessed it, and or maybe I haven't spoken to her in a week or two, and I would do that. Hey, mom, how you doing? And she fills my ear, and after a while, you're just like, conversation, discourse mean di means two. Conversation means two people. You say something, I say something, you say something, I say something. That's basic human conversation. Shouldn't ought to do that. So, and then the times when I would tell her things, it's like the lights are on, but nobody's home. I would tell her something, but it wouldn't land, or she'd like kind of slough it off, discount it, push it away. Oh, that's not that important. Let's get back to talking about me, bend the conversation right back to her. So that's been our relationship, if you can call it that. And that it's been that way for the 62 of the 63 years that I've been around. And she and her husband adopted me when I was 1. So I'm not biologically her son. She adopted me. They adopted me. But she and I are not blood. My whole life, when I've gone to a doctor, and they'll say, well, what's your family history of whatever, diabetes or whatever? Do you have this in your family background, that? And I've always said I was adopted at about age 1, but I say I was adopted at birth. So I don't know what my background is genetically. So that always kind of put a twist on things too. And so you have to, it's better to be told than not to be told, but it does put a filter on everything too, because you're just like, that confused the hell out of me when I was a kid growing up. I was like, my God. Half the time I didn't know if I was coming or going. But so what are you supposed to feel when someone you have had a difficult relationship with for your entire life is about to be gone? And gone for good. I don't know. And I want to look at this honestly, without dressing it up, without pretending, without why would I try to say that it was something that it wasn't? Why would I try to put a veneer on it or a gloss coat? Why would I do that? Why wouldn't I just say exactly what it was from my perspective? I'm sure she has hers. But I just thought I would share what I'm seeing in myself in real time, since it might help you come to terms with things that you are facing also. And I guess the bottom line is, am I supposed to be feeling something when they're dying? And I'm not the absolute expert at feelings and all that. I know I can differentiate between feelings, but as far as what's happening in me right now, I would start with, I just feel really jumbled up, and I have felt this way for a long time. It's like you're even on edge. Starting about a year ago, my mom was in and out of the hospital a lot, and I'd go down, see her, meet my brother there. We'd be in her room. We would discuss what are we going to do. But, we ended up, she got the pacemaker, all kinds of things, the hip, all kinds of procedures. I mean, every 10 minutes something was happening to her. So it's not been easy. And it's like when my dad died, it was pretty quick, and I wasn't that involved. But with her, now that she's on her own, my brother lives a lot closer, so he was really involved. His phone would ring off the hook to the point that his wife was like, this is a bit excessive. Like, what about me and what about our family? So, there's that to contend with also. And I had to tell my mom too, because I noticed, like, I noticed she was leaning on me emotionally in a way that you don't lean on your son. Mothers are not supposed to be leaning on their son emotionally in the ways that she was leaning on me. And I think Mike probably got that too. And I kept remembering when Christ said, I brought a sword not to fight, but to cleave people from me, to cut people from me, like a cleaver, a meat cleaver. I brought a sword not to fight. I'm not here to fight, but to cut people from me, because he said, I'm here, I have a purpose. I'm here for a reason. And my purpose is not for you people to be hanging on to me because you're so desperate in your state. And I've already told you how to get out. I've already told you the kingdom of heaven is closer than your own breath. I've already told you you need to put the kingdom of heaven first, and all else will be given unto you. I've already done that. And if you can't hear that, then you got to dig the wax out, because I've already said that. Like in the talks that we've already made, I think this is our 15th video. Every single video has been all about self-observation and our collective need to self-observe, how it makes your life better. So at some point, it's like, you got to start doing that if you're interested. If you want a better life, you have to do it. I can't do that work for you. And I noticed she was leaning on me emotionally too much, to the point that anecdote of Christ saying, I've brought a sword to cleave people from me, kept coming to me, because these videos are recent, but for the last 11 months, I've been writing books, and I was neck deep in that work. For the last 11 months, I've been writing everything that's on the website. That's what I've been doing. I've been focusing on that. It's like I had to get that down on paper before too much more time elapses. So I'm focused. I'm putting first the kingdom of heaven, so all else will be given unto me. I'm spreading the message of the importance of moment to moment impartial self-observation, so that there might be one man or one woman out in that world who will hear those words and take heed and take them to heart and start doing the actual work. But I had to get it down on paper. So I was focused. And then there were times when I was getting, she would call me a lot. Her record was 16 times in one day, because she needed to interact with other human beings so that she can feel right within herself. She has that. She has the narcissistic tendencies, meaning she's empty inside, meaning she can't regulate her own emotions. She can't. She expects other people to do that for her, which is totally selfish, incredibly selfish. I don't know how it happens, but these people are very small kids, and they never learn to regulate their own emotions. So they grow physically and they grow mentally, but they do not grow emotionally. And so they put out there, they export what should be imported. Because something happens to us, we get challenged, or we get told off, or we get told that we're wrong. No, Jack, that's wrong. And so we bring that inside us, and we learn how to deal with that starting when we're young. But some people, they never process that. They never learn how to process their own emotions. And she was one of them. She wasn't a bad one. She wasn't a malignant narcissist. She was on the other end of the spectrum. She was a benign narcissist, self-absorbed, but not mean. I never saw her mean to anyone else, ever. I never saw her mean. And she has great qualities. I'm not saying she doesn't, but what I'm going through now is processing all of these things. And it's, like I say, that what's happening inside me right now it's very, very chaotic inside. It's not smooth and even. There's days, and 2 or 3 days in a row will go that way, but then I'll hear something about her, or it's something to deal with, her passing, and she's not gone yet, but she's could go any day, could go any hour, actually. So this is, I just thought, I was in bed early this morning, and it came to mind. I thought maybe I should. I mean, it's in the moment right now. It's happening right now. So I thought maybe I should put together a talk about it. Do a video on that, because maybe it'll help someone out there. It's like, so what's happening inside me right now is a lot of commotion, a lot of up and down, up and down. And what's inside is like it's just been so long and so drawn out. Like I say, when my dad went, that was quick. My older sister died, and that was longer. But, she and I weren't, that, it wasn't my mother. But this is your mom, and it is your one and only mom. And she stepped up. She adopted me. She didn't have to adopt me. And the thing is, she would say the words, she'd say, "Oh, I love you, Jack," whatever, in moments. But I never felt that. I never felt it. I don't know if that makes sense. But people tell you that, and, well, I love you. But, yeah, but, if that's what you call love, I kind of think you're just saying the words. You know what I mean? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to end this for now. I'm going to come back and do volume 2. I think we're going to have a part 2 to this. So that's it for now. But I'll be back. Okay, I'll be back. And now you say thanks for the warning. But anyway, I'll be back. We're going to cut this in half, and and I'll come back and I've got more to share. I'll see you next time.